What's up, guys? This is my part 2 video. And my dog. It's my part 2 video to my journey into anxiety and depersonalization. And the first part of the video was just talking about you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's kind of how I got to the depersonalization. But part 2 is gonna be, you know, the day my depersonalization started and until more recently. I had anxiety for about a year and a half before DP, and then I had very intense anxiety for about 6 months before DP, and I mean like really intense, like being on the verge of a panic attack pretty much 24/7, and never getting a break, and started avoiding things, avoiding going out, avoiding going to places where I thought I could have a panic attack, or where, avoiding all situations in which that could mess me up, or where I'd be made fun of for having a panic attack, and that's where it got so bad. Is in those 6 months that those fears intensified so much that they eventually got to the point to where DP hit, and like all of you, I'm sure, have done countless hours of research on what causes depersonalization, whether it's trauma of some sort, or anything of that nature, trauma of some sort, or some kind of fear or anxiety that manifests itself, and eventually your brain gets tired and puts you in it's almost like certain parts of your fight or flight reflex get stuck in the on position. Like think of it as like I do electrical work, so I think of it as like a panel box in your house. You don't have to flip all the breakers on, and think of your fight or flight the same way. Like, most of the breakers turned off, the heart pounding, all that kind of stuff, but there's certain aspects of it, the hyper awareness, the visual distortion, whatever. Think of those as still being flipped on, and those forgot to get turned off, and it's kind of something that gets stuck on once you've been in that stress state for so long. And what I tell people is, there's two kinds of research. When you first get DP and you don't know what it is, you're freaking out, you're doing all this crazy research trying to figure out what it is, what's wrong with you, what's this crazy bad thing that's happening to me, and all that kind of stuff. And even once you find out what it is, you keep researching, because you're like, oh, there's no way it could be just that, I'm special, my case is different, it's so much more intense than everybody else's. Like, no, it's not. Believe me, mine's been as bad as it can get. And a lot of people's symptoms vary, but overall they're similar. Some people get more DR than DP. I have more DP than DR. One of my good buddies, his channel, Dylan Mangrum, check his channel out. He's got a lot of good videos on this, but he's got more DR than DP, and he's almost out. But it's you get trapped in doing all that crazy research because you haven't fully accepted that it's just this, it's just depersonalization, it's just anxiety, nothing more. Tired mind, nothing more. And that's bad research. Getting into that crazy, frantic, reading 24 hours a day, all that kind of stuff, that's what I call bad research. You got good research and you got bad research. That's bad research, where you're frantic. Good research is educating yourself, because most people that have DPDR for long periods of time, they didn't know what they have, or didn't understand the why, the how of what they had in DP. For instance, that's my case. I knew from early time on that it was depersonalization, but until recently, five and a half years have gone by, but until recently, I never quite understood why and how and all that kind of stuff. And I educated myself on the psychology and depersonalization and anxiety as a whole. What stress does to your body and your brain, and what it can cause, and all that kind of stuff. And until you really get a grasp on that, you're never going to fully understand it. You're never going to be able to fully believe, hey, that's this, it's just that, because and that's hard to do while you're to research it and learn all that. I'm sorry, my nose keeps itching, but it's hard to do that while you're in DP, because, like many of you know, I'm sure, it's hard to think because your mind's so worn out. It's hard to read for too long. It's hard to really grasp concepts. Hard to learn because your mind is just exhausted. It just feels like nothing makes sense and all that kind of stuff. But I promise you can retain it. But it may, don't try to force it on yourself. Do a little bit at a time. But educate yourself. And that's good research. That's positive. That's understanding what's going on, and that's just gonna, later on down the road, it's gonna give you a better understanding of, once you do beat this, it'll give you a better understanding of how to never let it happen again, and how to I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it gives you a better understanding. It lets you know that, this is just fear, anxiety, tired mind, and it can be fixed, but it takes time. Don't put a time limit on your recovery. It could take anywhere from, not to freak you out, it could take a week, it could take a year, but the more you sit there and think about it, and the more you sit there and fight it, the worse it's gonna get. And that's just how it is. But back into my story, DP hit hard for me right there in college, and it was from constant stress and constant panic and constant fear of panic, and eventually it hit, and I had no idea what was going on. It totally melted my mind. I just freaked out, and it bothered me a lot, and I moved home. But almost instantly, I got a job. I went back to work. I was dating a great chick at the time, and I went to work for her dad, and he was a good fellow. They were a great family, and we're still friends. But they were good people, and they got me a job, and that really got me back out there pretty quick after all that had happened. I still didn't understand what my DP was, or how intense my anxiety was, anything like that, but that right there kind of put me back out there, and I went on a different medicine at the time. I tried I can't remember what that medicine was, but I don't know, it was a regular antidepressant, but it didn't really do anything. And then I got on this stuff called Prestige, which really knocked down any fear of panic, but unfortunately it knocked down any other feeling too. I could operate when I was taking that medicine. I could work, I could drive. My job was to drive. I drove 400 or 500 miles a week, and fully in DP DR, and that medicine, it really I could operate but I basically was numb. I know DPDR makes you numb. This made me 5 times that numb. I couldn't cry, I couldn't smile. I was just like a robot, and it was not fun. And coming off of it was even less fun. That's when I had my second really epic breakdown into DP, because I could function really well on that stuff, and it helped me a lot, and I got a pretty good ways with it. I think I was almost recovered, but the thing was, I'd gotten over a whole bunch of these fears, and I'd gotten really back into life, but I'd been on that medicine for so long that, and I was just emotionless. And until you face those fear with emotions and feel them, you're never gonna get past them. And I left that job, had a motorcycle wreck, left that job, and had a new plan on life and whatnot. And I moved back to Tuscaloosa actually, and hung out up at my dad's house for like 6 or 8 months, something like that. And eventually, I kind of shut back in because I wasn't forced to go out and drive and do all that stuff every day. My DP, my anxiety was still really bad. I kind of shut myself back in, and over those 8 months, I regressed back to the state of where I was barely driving, where I was barely going out, where I was barely doing anything, just sitting at the house, sleeping, playing video games, dipping, eating. I'd go hunting or fishing every now and then, and that kind of stuff. I'm 8 months clean off tobacco. That's one positive thing that I've done recently. But I think I could have come off. I think I could have come out of it, but I regressed back into that, and then I kind of had another epic breakdown because I came off the Prestige because I was like, I just can't take this not having emotions anymore. I came off of it, and it wrecked me again. And at that point, I still didn't know, I still didn't understand depersonalization. I knew what it was, knew how it made me feel, but I didn't understand it, why, how, all that good crap. And I'm sorry, I've had that sideways like the whole time, but it helped me. I moved back home again, and I decided to get in school. I went to diesel mechanic school, and I had my ups and downs through diesel mechanic school, and finally finished that and graduated that. And as soon as I got out of that, my dad called me, and I got a job doing electrical work, even though I just graduated diesel mechanic school, and good money. So I was like, I'll come do that. And he's always wanted me to take over his business. So I was like, I don't know about that, but we'll see. We'll see if I enjoy it. And so I came up here and started working with him about 9-10 months ago now, and making good money, and all that stuff. But I just recently really started, probably about a year ago, started to really doing that research into DP. Like I was talking about, that good research, that educational research, where I was like, I finally got it in my head, to get over this, you're gonna have to fully understand it. And so I've done that research. I've been there. I've done all that reading and praying and all that kind of stuff, just trying to get it better. And I've educated myself to the point to where I feel very very educated on the topic. I'll debate with anyone about it all day long, every day, because I feel very strongly about everybody. There's certain psychologists, psychiatrists tell you one thing, and I'll tell them to their face that they're full of shit. And if they've never felt it, they don't know. And it's one of those things that I think personal experiences with it are much better than the book definition. And that goes for a lot of things with anxiety, depression, depersonalization, whatever you want to talk about in that category. And but I really educated myself, and I'm finally starting to get back out there. I'm working again full time, and working out of town, but I'm getting back more to driving and going out and stuff like that. But I really just need to sorry, I keep looking back. I keep thinking my dog's getting out of the door over there. But I think a big deal is and the whole thing is understanding. Once you do that good research and you start getting that firm understanding of what you need to do, then that's when you can really take action. And that's why I kind of started this channel, because you know, I'm getting ready to. I've been in this for 5.5 years, and I'm tired of it. I'm so sick of it. It drives me crazy. And that's one thing that can give people hope. You know, those people who are just now into it and it's very intense and all that stuff. You're not going crazy. You're fine. Look at me. Been dealing with it for 5.5 years. I'm okay. I'm annoyed, but I'm okay. And you know, I've made this channel because I'm starting to get. I'm about to get very very intense with my recovery process, and not in the sense of, you know, oh, I'm gonna sit there and try to think my way out of it, because you can't think your way out of it. Your mind won't let you when you're in this state. But you know, you can start to take the steps towards recovery by educating yourself and by getting back out there and living. And you know, I'm gonna take y'all on some trips with me and stuff like that in some later videos. You know, do some day in the life videos like Dylan Mangrum does, and you know, kind of walk you through what I do on a daily basis, and different experiences, and that kind of thing. But I've got a lot of good information. I've been doing it for a long time. I'm going through it for a long time, so I've got the experiences with it, and all that good stuff, and I'm gonna keep posting updates, because I'm gonna start doing different videos on different progress and updates and stuff like that, because we can whoop this. We may have to do it together, but we can whoop it, and I'm here to help, and I would hope that you would help me too, and like and subscribe, because yeah, just let me kind of give me some reassurance that I'm helping somebody out there with theirs, or even if it's just somebody to be like, you know, oh my gosh, finally I know what that guy means. I feel the same way. And yeah, just take it easy. You know, you've got time. Money's not everything. Your happiness needs to be your most important factor when you're dealing with this. It should be your number one priority. Relaxing and being happy. Just go out there and do something to make yourself happy every day. Whether it's reading a book, or catching a fish, or shooting guns, motor riding, whatever you do. I'm biased. You know, I'm from the South, so we shoot, we fish, we play football, and do stuff that's not totally legal everywhere else. But yeah, just get out and have fun. Like and subscribe, guys. Thanks.